stop scrolling for a second because what I'm about to tell you will completely change the way you see attraction and human connection forever. Most people spend their lives guessing, overthinking, and getting it wrong. They look for obvious signs, dramatic gestures, and loud declarations. But the truth is hidden in ways you've never noticed, hidden in signals so subtle, so powerful that if you miss them, you'll never know what was right in front of you. Today, I'm going to reveal two hidden signs that a younger woman is completely crazy about you. And these aren't the things you hear anywhere else. These are secrets that most people will never tell you because they're afraid you'll actually see the truth and start acting on it. I want you to pay attention, really pay attention, because the first sign is something so subtle, it will shock you how easily it goes unnoticed. It's not about what she says, it's about what she notices about you, things you didn't even think mattered, things that scream your presence is leaving a mark in ways most people will never recognize. And the second sign, this one is even more mind-blowing. It's about how she invests in you emotionally and mentally without ever asking for anything in return. This is the kind of attraction that most people will overlook because it isn't loud, it isn't obvious, but it's more powerful than anything else you could see on the surface. If you miss this, you will stay confused, you will stay guessing, and you will miss the hidden truth that changes everything. But if you stay with me until the end of this video, I promise you will see the patterns no one else sees. You will understand the signals that are invisible to everyone else, and you will gain the clarity that most people spend years searching for. Keep watching because what I'm about to reveal will make you see attraction and her interest in a way you've never imagined before. You have to understand something about human attraction that most people never talk about. It's not in the gestures you notice at first glance. It's not in the flashy attention or the dramatic declarations. Real interest, real connection often hides in the details, the tiny, almost invisible threads that weave a person's attention around you. This is where the first hidden sign shows itself, when she notices everything about you. And I mean everything. It's not about remembering your birthday or the color of your shirt. It's about how deeply her mind and heart are tuned to your presence. She will notice the subtle shifts in your mood, the way your tone changes when you're passionate about something, the way you glance at your phone for a brief moment and sigh without realizing it. These small details, which most people ignore or dismiss as insignificant, are actually loud signals. They are the footprints of someone who is mentally, emotionally, and even subconsciously paying attention to every nuance of your being. Think about it. When was the last time someone noticed the little things about you without you having to point them out? It's rare, right? Most people move through life distracted, seeing what they want to see, hearing only what fits their narrative. But someone who is drawn to you, truly drawn, absorbs the fragments you leave behind without effort. She listens not just to your words, but to the pauses between them. She watches not just your movements, but the energy in your gestures. She will remember things you forgot you even mentioned, and she will bring them up later, not to impress you, not to show off, but because your presence, your essence, matters to her. She is engaged on a level that is silent, yet intensely communicative. Psychologically, this level of attention is profound. When someone notices the micro expressions, the subtle habits, the tiny quirks that make you uniquely you, it triggers something deep in human connection. It speaks to a kind of empathy that goes beyond casual interaction. She is mapping the patterns of your personality, unconsciously studying the architecture of who you are. And what you must understand is this: Attraction at this level is rarely about superficial beauty or temporary charm. It is about resonance. It is about your energy, your authenticity, and the way your presence leaves an imprint on her mind. When she brings these details up, it's not flattery, it's recognition. It's a mirror reflecting the depth of her attention. Now, here's the part that shocks most people. You may have interacted with women who seem casual, even indifferent, and yet they are noting everything. They are collecting fragments of your behavior, storing them, and processing them in ways you will never consciously see. This is why it's easy to miss the sign entirely. You might dismiss it as coincidence, luck, or simple politeness. But if you train yourself to observe and understand, you'll realize that this is the first and most powerful signal that someone is deeply invested in you. This is why many people fail. They look for loud gestures, for overt pursuit, while the real truth is whispered in the details. And there's a philosophical layer here too. To notice someone fully without judgment, without distraction, requires attention, a rare human quality. It requires presence. In a world filled with constant noise, attention is currency. When someone spends their attention on you, truly holy, it is a form of value that cannot be measured with material things. She is choosing consciously or unconsciously to allocate her energy to you. That is powerful. That is rare. That is attraction in its purest form. Imagine the difference between being seen superficially and being observed fully. Most people experience the first, the casual nods, the generic compliments, the fleeting attention. Few experience the second, the deep, quiet engagement that registers your smallest shifts, your unspoken expressions, your unvoiced thoughts. When someone notices everything about you, they are saying without words that you matter. Your existence leaves ripples in their perception, and they cannot ignore it. This is a form of connection that transcends ordinary understanding. It is an unspoken devotion, a silent recognition, a magnetic pull that begins in subtlety and grows in intensity. Here's the takeaway. Pay attention to how she interacts with you on this level. Notice if she remembers the small stories you tell, if she picks up on your moods without you saying a word, if she reacts to details you assumed were invisible. These are not casual coincidences. They are evidence of genuine attraction, of mental and emotional investment. And when you recognize it, it transforms the way you perceive relationships. It teaches you to look beyond the surface, to value authenticity of a performance, and to respond with awareness rather than assumption. So the next time someone notices the small, subtle things about you, don't brush it off. Don't assume it's nothing. These details are signals, powerful and precise, and they are rare. In a world where most people only see what is loud and obvious, to be noticed fully is to be valued. It is a secret language of attraction, one that few can read, but those who do gain clarity, confidence, and insight that changes the game entirely. Remember this always. The person who notices everything about you is not casual. Their attention is a mirror reflecting your impact on them, your resonance in their world, and your value beyond words. Recognize it, respect it, and act with the awareness that these signs are gifts, hidden, subtle, and transformative. When you learn to see the quiet attention, you will never overlook true attraction again. Pay attention to the details. They are louder than words. The second hidden sign is something most people completely miss because it's not loud, it's not obvious, and it doesn't follow the rules of what we usually expect from attraction. This one is about presence, not the kind you see physically, but the kind that exists in the emotional space between two people. It's the invisible gravity that pulls her attention toward you, even when she doesn't speak a word about it. You may notice her wanting to be around you more often, but it's not just coincidence or casual interest. It's a deliberate, sometimes subconscious investment in your energy. She finds ways to be part of your world, even in the smallest ways, sending a message at the right moment, showing up where she knows you will be, laughing at things you barely notice. This is a quiet obsession disguised as everyday interaction. It is subtle, but it carries more weight than any dramatic declaration could. Think about the psychology behind this. When someone invests their emotional energy in another person, it's a reflection of how much they value not just the person, but the connection they feel. Emotional investment is not casual. It requires attention, it requires thought, and it requires a willingness to put part of oneself into something that may never be returned in the same way. This is why so many people fail to recognize it. They look for flashy signs, for the visible pursuit, and miss the undercurrent that flows beneath the surface. But true attraction often speaks in whispers, not shouts. It is expressed through energy, intention, and subtle alignment with your presence. She is showing you in ways that cannot be faked that your existence affects her. She is choosing to care, to notice, and to be involved in your life. It's important to understand the difference between casual presence and this deeper level of attention. Anyone can show up physically, anyone can make an appearance or a polite conversation, but emotional presence is an entirely different matter. It's the kind of attention that remembers what you said last week, the kind that feels disappointment when you are upset, the kind that mirrors your energy without you even noticing. It's a presence that grows stronger over time because it is invested, not obligated. She is allocating her mental space, her emotional bandwidth, her energy toward you, and that is not something that happens lightly. Philosophically, this is fascinating because it touches on the concept of resonance. Two people can occupy the same physical space without ever truly connecting. But when someone invests emotionally, they are resonating with you. They are vibrating on a frequency that is attuned to your presence. This is why you feel it, even if you cannot explain it. You feel her attention in the way she listens, in the way she responds, in the way she adapts her energy around yours. This is attraction in its purest form, invisible yet undeniable, and it is rare. Most people never recognize it because they are trained to look for the loud, obvious signals instead of the nuanced, energy-based ones. Now, consider how many times you've been around someone who seemed present, but it felt shallow. You could sense that their attention was fleeting, distracted, or conditional. That is the difference. Emotional investment is a consistent force. It is reliable without being predictable. It is expressed in patterns, not grand gestures. She might not say she wants to spend more time with you, but you feel it. She might not openly admit her thoughts or feelings, but her energy communicates them more powerfully than words ever could. This is why recognizing this sign changes everything. Once you understand it, you no longer chase, you no longer guess, you no longer doubt. You simply observe and respond with awareness. Let me make this even clearer. She finds ways to be part of your life without forcing herself into it. She respects your boundaries, but she also creates moments where her presence aligns with yours. She invests without demanding. She engages without needing approval. This is a delicate balance that only someone who is genuinely interested can maintain. And it is almost impossible to fake over time because emotional investment requires authenticity. You can spot it if you pay attention because it has consistency, depth, and intention woven into even the smallest actions. The lesson here is profound. Attraction is not always what you think it is. It is not about bold moves or dramatic confessions. It is about understanding the energy someone brings into your life and recognizing when it is uniquely directed at you. Emotional investment is a hidden sign because it is often invisible, but it is also incredibly telling. When you notice it, it is like a key unlocking the hidden dynamics of connection. It reveals who values your presence, who resonates with your energy, and who is willing to invest in you without guarantees or conditions. And here's what makes it even more powerful. The people who notice this sign early, who understand it deeply, are the ones who experience relationships in a completely different way. They are not fooled by superficial attention. They are not manipulated by fake gestures. They are able to recognize true interest, respond appropriately, and build meaningful connections with clarity and confidence. Understanding emotional investment teaches you patience, observation, and discernment. It trains you to look beyond the surface and see what is genuinely important. So when you notice someone investing their emotional energy in you, don't dismiss it. Don't rationalize it away as coincidence or politeness. These actions, these patterns, these subtle alignments, this is the language of attraction speaking to you. It is a rare gift to be the focus of someone's attention in this way, and it carries enormous value. Those who learn to recognize it are no longer passive participants in their relationships. They are awake, aware, and empowered. They see the signals that most people miss, and they act with confidence and purpose. Remember this. Emotional investment is not casual. It is a conscious or subconscious choice to align one's energy, attention, on and care toward another person. It is a hidden signal that speaks louder than words. When you recognize it, you see beyond surface interactions. You see intention, resonance, and authentic attraction. And when you act with awareness, you turn these hidden signs into opportunities for clarity, connection, and growth. Pay attention to emotional presence. It is rare, it is powerful, and it is unmistakable. When someone invests in you emotionally, honor it, recognize it, respond to it with awareness. This is not just a signal, it is a guide, a compass pointing toward connection that is meaningful, genuine, transformative. The third hidden sign is something almost no one talks about, yet it is one of the most revealing indicators of true attraction. It is about the silent signals that speak louder than words. Most people spend their lives chasing overt gestures, compliments, dramatic declarations, visible attempts to impress, but true interest often communicates itself in ways so subtle, so carefully hidden, that they are easily overlooked. These signals are not obvious and they do not demand attention, but they carry a weight that cannot be ignored once you learn to recognize them. They exist in the pauses, the hesitations, the slight changes in tone, in the body language, in the moments when her attention shifts completely toward you without her saying a single. If you learn to see these invisible patterns, you will begin to understand her feelings in a way that goes beyond guesswork or hope. Think about the way human beings communicate beyond words. Science has shown that only a fraction of communication is verbal. The rest exists in micro expressions, gestures, tone of voice, and energy alignment. These are the channels through which genuine interest flows. When she is drawn to you, these channels open almost automatically. She may subtly mirror your posture, lean slightly closer when you speak, or unconsciously adjust her gestures to align with yours. These are not casual coincidences. They are reflections of attention and engagement. She is not just listening to your words, she is absorbing the rhythm of your presence, synchronizing with it, and responding in ways that are invisible to the casual observer. This is a form of connection that is extremely difficult to fake and even more difficult to ignore if you pay attention. Psychologically, this is fascinating because it taps into the concept of unconscious attraction. Often, people are not even aware of the signals they are sending. The mind reacts before it reasons. Her body, her energy, and her subtle behaviors reveal truths that her conscious mind may not express openly. This is why you may feel drawn to her even before she says anything, why you sense something in the energy between you that feels undeniable. These invisible cues are a form of honest communication, one that cannot be easily manipulated because they come from a deep, instinctive place. To notice them requires mindfulness, observation, and the willingness to look beyond superficial interactions. Consider how many times we misinterpret casual behavior as nothing, or we rationalize subtle signals as coincidence. We tell ourselves that someone laughing at our jokes is just being polite, that someone showing up in the same place as us is random, or that small, repeated gestures of attention are insignificant. But these patterns are deliberate. They are part of an unspoken language of attraction, one that has been operating beneath the surface of human interaction for millennia. She communicates her interest in ways that cannot be fully expressed in words, and understanding this language gives you access to truths that most people will never see. It is important to recognize that these silent signals are not about manipulation. They are not tricks or games. They are expressions of genuine interest and alignment. They reveal the way her mind and heart are engaged with yours. When she focuses her attention subtly, when she adjusts her energy to meet yours, when she reacts to your presence in small, consistent ways, it is a declaration far stronger than any casual compliment. It is evidence that her mind is paying attention, that her energy is invested, and that she is drawn to you in a way that is deep, instinctive, and real. Philosophically, there is a profound lesson here. Life is full of noise. Most people interact at a surface level, reacting to what is obvious, what is loud, what is designed to impress. But human connection is rarely found in noise. It is found in subtleties, in the spaces between words, in the invisible threads that tie two people together. When you learn to recognize these silent signals, you gain the ability to see authenticity. You learn to discern who is truly interested in you versus who is performing, and this awareness transforms the way you engage with others. You stop guessing, stop overthinking, and start observing with clarity. You understand that true attraction is not about spectacle, it is about resonance, alignment, and subtle, yet undeniable engagement. Now, pay attention to what this looks like in real life. She may not say directly that she wants to be closer to you, but her actions reveal it. She may time her messages just right, respond with a thoughtfulness that goes beyond casual texting, or react to your stories in ways Hat show she remembers the details. She may subtly initiate moments of connection without forcing them, creating opportunities to share experiences, to laugh, to engage emotionally. These are invisible threads being woven intentionally, and over time, these threads create a fabric of connection that is stronger than any overt declaration. If you are alert, if you are mindful, if you are willing to observe closely, you will see that these silent signals form a map, a guide that reveals the truth of her feelings. The challenge, of course, is perception. Most people are conditioned to look for the obvious. We are taught to equate value with visibility, but attraction at its core does not shout. It whispers, it communicates quietly, persistently, and in ways that require attention to understand. Recognizing these silent signals is like learning a secret code, one that reveals her genuine interest without the noise, the confusion, or the distractions that often cloud our judgment. And when you decode this language, you gain clarity. You see her intentions, her investment, and her interest clearly. You no longer operate on assumptions or hope. You operate on evidence and insight. So here's the takeaway: silent signals are powerful because they are authentic, instinctive, and difficult to manipulate. They exist in gestures, energy, and alignment, and they reveal a level of interest that is deeper than surface level attention. To recognize them, you must train yourself to observe carefully, to look beyond what is said, to feel the energy in interaction, and to connect the subtle patterns that form the invisible language of attraction. When you do, you will gain an unprecedented understanding of human behavior, a clarity in relationships that most people never experience, and the ability to respond in ways that are confident, informed, and empowered. Never underestimate the power of subtlety. The people who succeed in relationships, who understand attraction at a profound level, are the ones who can read what is unspoken. They notice the patterns, the alignment, and the invisible threads that reveal true interest. Silent signals are not accidents. They are intentional, instinctive, and invaluable. If you learn to recognize them, you will never be confused about someone's feelings again. You will move through connections with clarity, insight, and confidence. Pay attention to the invisible. Listen to the unspoken. Observe the energy, because these silent signals are not just signs, they are proof. Proof of interest, proof of investment, and proof that the connection you seek exists in ways most people will never see. Recognize it, honor it, and act with awareness. This is the language of attraction, speaking directly to you, waiting for you to understand it, to respond, and to engage with it fully. The fourth hidden sign is one that changes everything about the way you perceive connection, attraction, and human interaction. It is the power of awareness, the ability to see what most people overlook and to understand the energy that others fail to recognize. This is not about guessing, wishing, or hoping. It is about observing, interpreting, and responding with clarity. Most people operate on assumption. They rely on what is said, on what is visible, on what is dramatic. They wait for loud gestures or explicit declarations. But the truth is that real signals are often subtle, hidden in patterns, behaviors, and energy alignment that require awareness to decode. Those who succeed in relationships, who understand attraction at a deeper level, are chasing. They are seeing, they are awake, they are paying attention to what others miss. Awareness is power because it separates observation from assumption. When someone is genuinely interested in you, they are sending signals that are consistent, intentional, and measurable if you know what to look for. They may not say it outright, they may not make it obvious, but their presence, their attention, and their energy tell the story. If you are not aware, these signs pass by unnoticed, dismissed as coincidence or casual interaction. But if you cultivate awareness, you begin to see the invisible patterns, the small, repeated behaviors that point to genuine attraction. You notice the way she listens intently, the way her energy shifts to match yours, the way she remembers what you said days ago, or the way she subtly adjusts her actions to align with yours. These are not random. They are signals carefully woven into interaction, waiting for someone perceptive enough to recognize them. Psychologically, this is profound. Human interaction is full of noise. People speak, gesture, and act for countless reasons, many of them unrelated to genuine attraction. But attention and awareness allow you to filter through this noise. They give you the ability to distinguish between superficial interest and real connection. When you are aware, you can see consistency in patterns. You notice when someone's behavior aligns with their words. You see when energy is directed toward you, not because it must be, but because it chooses to be. This level of observation is what transforms ordinary encounters into meaningful understanding. It is what allows you to recognize hidden signs that others overlook. Now, consider how many people are blind to these signs because they are distracted, impatient, or focused on the wrong things. They wait for grand gestures, for overt pursuit, for the kind of attention that can be performed. But awareness teaches you that real attraction is rarely performative. It is subtle, persistent, and intelligent. It exists in repeated attention, in consistent energy, in the small ways someone prioritizes you without you demanding it. And when you learn to notice these signals, your entire perspective shifts. You no longer operate on uncertainty. You no longer wonder. You no longer waste energy on guessing games. You observe, you understand, and you act with insight. Philosophically, this touches on a deeper truth about human connection. Most of life operates on surface level perception. Most of the time, people respond to what is loud, visible, and convenient. But true attraction, genuine interest, and meaningful connection exist beneath the surface. They are expressed in patterns, behaviors, and energy that require attention to recognize. Awareness is the lens that allows you to see beneath the surface. It allows you to detect authenticity, to separate performance from intention, and to recognize signals that others dismiss or overlook. Awareness turns observation into knowledge, knowledge into understanding, and understanding into action. In practical terms, what does this look like? It looks like noticing when she makes subtle efforts to engage with you without being asked. It looks like recognizing when her energy is aligned with yours in ways that feel natural, effortless, and consistent. It looks like observing the patterns in her behavior over time, the repeated moments that indicate focus, attention, and emotional investment. These are the hidden signals of attraction that only awareness can reveal. And when you catch them, you gain clarity, confidence, and the ability to respond in a way that is informed, intentional, and empowered. Awareness also teaches you patience. It shows you that connection is not about forcing interaction, controlling outcomes, or demanding validation. It shows you that real interest grows organically and is expressed through subtle, consistent patterns. When you are aware, you stop chasing illusions and start recognizing reality. You understand that the person who notices the small details, who invests emotionally, who sends silent signals, is not doing so casually. Their attention is intentional, their energy is directed, their presence is meaningful. And once you see this clearly, your perspective on relationships, attraction, and connection is transformed. The danger of ignoring awareness is that it leaves you blind to truth. You can miss patterns, misread intentions, and waste time on signals that are irrelevant or performative. You may chase what is fleeting while missing what is genuine. Awareness is your shield against confusion, your compass through uncertainty, and your guide to authentic understanding. It allows you to recognize hidden signs of attraction before they are lost, before they fade, and before they are misinterpreted. So the lesson is simple but profound. Awareness is not just a skill, it is a mindset. It is the ability to see clearly, to interpret energy accurately, and to respond with insight rather than impulse. Those who cultivate this awareness in human interactions are able to navigate relationships with clarity, confidence, and wisdom. They do not guess. They do not hope blindly. They observe, understand, and act in alignment with the truth that is already present. Remember this, the signs are always there, but only those who are awake can see them. Only those who pay attention, who observe patterns, who notice the invisible, can recognize true attraction. Awareness allows you to decode the language of interest, to read energy that is otherwise hidden, and to respond with understanding and purpose. It is a rare skill, a powerful lens, and the key to seeing the hidden dynamics that shape connection. Pay attention, observe the patterns, see the energy. Awareness is your guide, your power, and your tool to recognize what most people will never see. When you cultivate it, you are no longer guessing about attraction. You are seeing it with clarity, understanding it with depth, and responding with confidence. Awareness is the bridge between mystery and truth. The fifth hidden sign is one that most people overlook completely, yet it is perhaps the most profound of all. It is the way she invests in you without demanding anything in return, the invisible commitment that reveals genuine interest, care, and attraction. This sign is not about grand gestures, dramatic attention, or loud declarations. It is about consistency, subtlety, and intentionality. She creates moments, offers attention, and gives energy, not because she has to, not because she is obligated, but because she chooses to. This is a rare quality in human interaction, and recognizing it changes everything about how you perceive relationships, attraction, and connection. Think about what it means to invest in someone without expectation. Most people operate from a place of reciprocity. They give when they want something, when they hope for a return, or when it benefits them. But someone who is truly drawn to you engages differently. She gives without asking for acknowledgement. She makes space in her time, her energy, and her mind to align with yours. This is not casual behavior. This is intentional. She is showing you through her actions and her energy that your presence matters, that your life, your essence, your being is worth attention. And the beauty of this sign is that it cannot be faked. Investment without demand requires authenticity, emotional intelligence, and a deep level of connection that transcends superficial interest. Psychologically, this is incredibly powerful. Human beings are wired to notice effort, even when it is subtle. Our brains are attuned to patterns of consistency and intentionality. When someone invests in us without demanding, it signals something profound, a prioritization of our presence, an alignment of their energy with ours, and an emotional focus that cannot be overlooked. These actions may appear small. She sends a thoughtful message. She remembers something you casually mentioned. She offers support or encouragement, but the cumulative effect is monumental. Each small act compounds into a clear pattern of genuine care and attraction. And when you notice it, you understand that this is not casual attention. It is a hidden language of interest that is far more reliable than words alone. Now, consider how rare this quality is. In a world where most people act out of obligation, expectation, or self-interest, to encounter someone who invests without demanding is extraordinary. It reflects maturity, authenticity, and a deep level of awareness. She is not seeking to control, manipulate, or impress. She is simply aligning her energy with yours because it resonates with her, because she values the connection. This is why this sign is hidden. Most people never see it because they are conditioned to look for obvious gestures, loud pursuit, or performative attention. But if you can learn to recognize it, you gain access to a form of understanding that is both rare and transformative. Philosophically, there is a deeper lesson here about the nature of connection. True attraction is not about what is demanded or expected, it is about what is freely given. It exists in the subtle moments, the quiet attention, and the consistent presence that requires no validation. When someone invests in you without demanding, they are expressing a kind of respect and admiration that goes beyond words. They are showing you that you matter, not because of what you can provide, not because of what you appear to be, but because of who you are. This is a profound reflection of human connection, a principle that is often ignored in the pursuit of instant gratification or visible attention. In practical terms, what does this look like? She makes an effort to notice your moods, your energy, and your needs. She finds ways to engage with you that feel natural, thoughtful, and consistent. She creates space in her life for you without expectation. She aligns her attention with yours in ways that are small, subtle, and repeated over time. These are invisible acts of devotion, silent patterns of care, and signals of genuine attraction that reveal more about her intentions than any words could. Recognizing these moments requires mindfulness, attention, and an understanding of human behavior. It requires you to look beyond the surface, to see patterns in energy, attention, and action, and to understand what they truly mean. The danger of ignoring this sign is significant. Many people fail to recognize genuine interest because they are focused on loud gestures, dramatic attention, or performative behavior. They may mistake casual interaction for true investment or overlook consistent effort because it does not demand recognition. But the person who invests without demanding is showing a depth of interest that is far more powerful, reliable, and meaningful than anything else. If you can recognize this pattern, you gain clarity, confidence, and the ability to respond to genuine attraction with insight rather than guesswork. There is also a lesson here about personal growth and awareness. To recognize this sign, you must be awake, attentive, and willing to observe beyond the obvious. You must understand that human connection is built over time in subtle patterns and in intentional alignment. You must cultivate the ability to read energy, to interpret actions, and to understand the meaning behind consistent investment. This teaches patience, observation, and discernment. It trains you to see authenticity and to separate true attraction from superficial interest. And once you master this, your interactions with people shift profoundly. You no longer operate from confusion, doubt, or uncertainty. You operate from clarity, insight, and informed awareness. The ultimate takeaway is this: the person who invests in you without demanding is sending a signal that is far more powerful than words, loud gestures, or casual attention. This is a hidden sign of attraction that only those who are awake, observant, and mindful can see. When you notice it, you gain access to a level of understanding that transforms how you perceive relationships, connection, and human behavior. You understand who is genuine now, you interested, who values your presence, and who is willing to align their energy with yours. And once you see this, you no longer guess. You no longer hope blindly. You understand the signals, you recognize the patterns, and you respond with clarity and confidence. So pay attention to this hidden sign. Notice the consistent investment without demand. Observe the subtle ways someone aligns their energy with yours, remembers your words, and creates space in their life for you. Recognize that this is a rare, powerful, and undeniable signal of genuine attraction. And when you see it, honor it, respond to it with awareness, and act with intention. This is the gift of insight. The ability to recognize what most people miss, to understand what most people cannot see, and to act on it in a way that transforms your connections. Remember this always. Investment without demand is a hidden signal of genuine interest. It is subtle, consistent, and powerful. It speaks louder than words, lasts longer than performative attention, and reveals intentions that cannot be faked. When you notice it, you see the truth of attraction. You gain clarity, you gain confidence, and most importantly, you gain the ability to act with awareness, wisdom, and intentionality in ways that change everything.